responsibilities. It's gonna be really very awkward.
So just show the camera, I guess, like what you have in your hand, like what you're using.
Oh yeah, well they're gonna see it. Huh?
What do you need for this haircut?
Okay, so for this haircut, I did mention it in the event description, but you're gonna need your clippers. I have my wall seniors, and then I'm gonna be using a number 1 guard and a number 2 guard. And then of course I have a comb, a pair of scissors, and a water bottle to let the hair down. So we're actually going to be starting this haircut dry for the clipper portion. I know some people say that they like to do it wet. For me personally, I like to do it dry. And this reason being is when it's wet, the clipper has a hard time catching all of the hair. So then you have to go back in and make sure that you've caught everything. So that's why I like doing it dry. So I think we're just going to start. So hopefully I can do this without getting in the way of the camera.
Or you need me.
Right here. Elizabeth can tell me if I'm not, or if I'm in the way. Okay, so I have my clippers on, and I am going to be putting it in a 1.5 position. So I'm going to open up this blade. It adds a half when I open it up. So this is closed, and that means that the blade, they're the closest that they can be together, and that gives you a true 1 length. Halfway is going to add a little bit of length, and that's a good length to blend in between a 1.5 to, or a 1 to a 1.5, and then all the way is going to get that 1.5 length. So I'm going to start out with a 1.5. So we're going to start just at the nape of the neck here, and I'm going to come straight up and start this first cut here. McCoy has quite a bit of cowlicks through his neck. His hair grows just in different directions. So I do a lot of manipulating my clippers to go in the direction that I need to get that hair fully cut. So if you are following along, don't feel like you need to do that. If you feel like you've gotten it cut nicely like this, then don't feel like you have to do all these weird movements with your clippers as you're doing it. So we're going to continue that line that we've created to just behind the left ear for now. And I'm going about 2 inches into the hairline with this. This can be a little bit higher of a fade. And I'll continue it back around to the right side. And I'll stop behind that left ear. And I can go back through and clean up that line a little bit. Can they still see this?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So as we come through here, I'm going to be taking it a little bit over the ear, and I'm going to be following that shape. So we're not going straight like this. We're going to be going at a little bit of a curve to go around that ear and to kind of follow the shape of the head as I'm going. And again, McCoy's hair, he has a lot of it, but it's kind of fine. If we're going to talk about hair types really quick, it's fine, and he has a lot of it. So as I'm going through and cutting, it's going to be really difficult to blend because it's that way, and his hair kind of just sticks straight out from his head. It's super puffy. When his hair grows out, it gets really puffy. So that's the one length. Let me get some of this hair out of here. Next, I'm going to go into my 2 length. So you're going to turn your clippers off. and I did the 1 length at a 1.5, and I want to do the 2 at a full 2, so I'm going to have it in the closed position. And you're going to just go in just underneath that length, and we'll go up into it. I'm going about 1.5 inches up into the hair above that 1 length. I'll stop behind the right ear and the left ear. I'm going to go back around and clean up that line. And then you will be going over the left ear as well. So then I'm going to go back in with my 1.5. So I'll go back to my 1.5 clipper guard and I'll make sure that it's open. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to blend where I've cut that 1. And I'm just lightly touching that 1 or that 2 length, the very edge of it in between the lengths. I don't want to go too far up into that 2 length that I just cut, because then it'll mess up the fadedness of it. So if I went way up here, then I would have to cut up more with the 2 lengths, and then it would be higher than I wanted it to be. So you're just touching that line. It's already looking better. Alright, so I'm happy with how that is blended out. So the next part that I'm going to do is I'm going to do the neckline. So, for me, I like to use my wall peanut. It just gets a finer cut. If you don't have one of these at home, you can use your clippers. Just be careful because it is sharp, and you don't want to cut them with the clippers. If you don't have something like this and you don't feel comfortable using the clippers to edge, your husband has beard, he'll have a smaller clipper kind of like this, and you can also use that just to kind of do the fine tuning of the haircut. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to start at the center. I'm just going to cut it, and I'm going to go all the way down because McCoy has a lot of fine hairs that go down here as well. And then I'm going to continue that line all the way over to about there. And then I'll go back around and I'll continue doing that on this side as well. So throughout the week, I did have a couple of questions from people about necklines and how to tell if they're squared or rounded. So McCoy has a squared neckline, and you can tell that because the hair grows pretty far through here, pretty far out through here. So if I went through and rounded it off, that's another thing. You can also tell, like, based off of their neck, if they have a really big neck, if you do a rounded neckline, it's going to make their neck look a lot bigger. If you do a squared neckline, it's going to look a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Symmetrical.
Slim?
Yeah, it'll look slimmer. It'll look nicer, proportionate. It'll look proportionate to their neck. So if you have a rounded off neckline with a big neck, it'll look a little off. I'm not saying that that's going to be that way for everybody. Some people have their preferences, and that's totally fine. So McCoy has a natural square neckline, and he has a bigger neck. So I'm going to keep it squared. But it is kind of just your preference of what you would like. Alright, so I'm going to continue that, and to do a squared off neckline, I've created this line through here. So I've created a straight line through here, and then to finish off that square, I'm just going to come straight through here, so you can kind of see it. So I've created this straight line through here, and then I'm just going to come in straight through here. Now, if I were going to do rounded, I wouldn't come straight and make this line as well and come straight through here. I would cut off that corner and just keep it rounded. So I would keep cutting to make that rounded shape. So that's how you make a squared neckline. I think it looks pretty good compared to the other one. Alright, and then I'm going to come through and I'm just going to clean up around his ears. I'm going to hold his ear down. And again with this, you just want to go right at the hairline. You don't want to go too far into the hairline. It'll take a bit to grow out. And then you can go through and just clean up the sideburns a little bit, shape them up a little bit more. And then you can continue that on the other side. Okay, so another thing to point out, if you're not gonna have this issue if you're doing the haircut on a boy, unless your sons grow beards really young. But on your husband, if you're cutting his hair, if he has a beard or even just like a little bit of stubble, you don't need to cut that sideburn or square that sideburn, because then you'll just have hair for his beard and then a weird little bald spot, and so you just want to leave that. If you do want to trim it a little bit, you can take your comb and just kind of use the clipper or the edger to blend it a little bit. McCoy doesn't have a large amount here, so I can't exactly show you.
I can't grow a beard.
Does he here a little bit? No. Sorry. But I'm not going to square it off. That's why, if anybody has a question, that's why, because I want to leave that hair growth through there. Flippers. So next I'm going to go in with the scissors, and this is where I wet the hair down. Put it down now. This is where I like to wet the hair down because his hair is fine and it kind of fluffs everywhere, so I like to wet the hair down here. I can also see a little bit better when I'm blending. Alright, so to blend the back, I am going to be taking small sections to blend all of this hair, and I'm going to be just cutting it I should probably turn it this way so it can see the book. Can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this bottom piece here, that's the number 2 length that I cut through here. And then this is the rest of the hair that I'm going to cut. Alrighty. So I've blended the hair a little bit. I'm going to keep doing that. You're just kind of going in small sections and you're pulling straight up off the head. And I am, it's finger length. So finger length is you're actually touching their head. So the length that you get is how thick or thin your finger is. And we're gonna go all the way around from the back to the left. And I'm going to continue that on the right a little bit. I'm kind of combing this part or this cowlick up. I want to leave the cowlick with a little bit more length so that when he does do his hair, it'll lay flat or as flat as it can without sticking up. Alright, so now that I've gotten that length a little bit more, again, you're going to have to go through and blend this line. And I do that with a scissor over comb technique. So I'm going to be combing up, and then the spine of the comb is going to be touching the back of the head, and I'm going to angle it forward so that the length that I cut through here is my guide. So through this top section here, I can see the hairs where my guide is, and then this is the length that I need to cut off. So you're matching that length with the length that we just cut, the scissor or the finger length. And then you just have to keep doing that until it's fully blended. And then you can just work in small sections so that you're not getting super overwhelmed, and then comb the hair down just so that you can see how it's looking. Alright. So I'm happy with how that looks. There's a couple of spots, but I'm not going to sit and peen over them. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of how to do this so that you guys can see it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start through here. So I cut, sorry, let's drag your feet. I cut through here with the scissor or the finger length. So I'm going to do that same thing through here to kind of try to blend this a little bit more. So again, I have parted his hair where he likes to part it so that I'm kind of just cutting the length into his already styled hair. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to go through and just take small sections starting at the back here. And I'm just going to cut off the corner that is through here to blend this a little bit more. McCoy, I didn't ask you, but how short do you want the top?
Am I supposed to know the answer to that?
How short do you want the top?
Just do it how you normally do it.
Okay. I think I do it different.
Was I supposed to be quiz there?
No.
3. I don't know.
And then I'm just going through and I'm doing that scissor over comb technique again to blend out that line a little bit more. Your hair is so puffy.
Yep. What can I say? I prefer it that way.
You prefer it puffy?
Nope. Just a joke. No.
Okay, so now that I've blended that a little bit more, I'm going to go through and I'm kind of just going to, I don't know how to do this. Okay, so I cut through here, and what I'm going to do is I'm kind of just going to be going in a circle. So imagine that this is a circle. So through here, we've kind of created a straight line, and we're going to be going in a rounded circle over his head to keep that length a little bit more. So I've cut through here, so now I'm just going to readjust. And I'm going to cut here. So this is where I started my guide, and this is what I need to cut. And then we'll do that all through here, and then we'll just again. He's getting the ice cube. I was talking about our dog who's sniffing in the kitchen.
Go.
Alright, so then we're going to adjust again to cut through here. So there's the guide that I've cut, and that's what I'm going to be cutting off. And we'll go all through this section here. And then adjust again, and we'll be cutting straight or partially straight off. So there's the guide that I cut, and then that's what I'm going to be cutting.
If I sit up straight, will that be okay?
No.
Oh, dang. My back.
I'm sorry, I'm almost done. Okay, and then we're going to adjust again. Alright, and so I've kind of left this through here, so what you're going to do is you're going to do the bangs or the fringe of the haircut, you're going to pull straight up off the head, and so that is the length that I've cut into the haircut, and this is what I'm going to cut. And I like to leave it a little bit longer because I like to have a little bit length through there. And then you can make sure that it's even through here and laying the way that it should. So I took that length or that guide that I cut through here and I took it all the way around. And then by combing it forward, I am taking this length, and I do have my fingers a little bit at a point. So instead of cutting straight like this, I have angled my fingers a little bit. So this is the guide that I cut through here, and then this is what I cut, and I did cut off a little bit more. So this is going to leave length right through here. So if you bring the hair back, it's going to be able to lay nicely, but you're still getting the shorter part through here. So if you want to leave the length, that's how you would do it. You would kind of over direct it forward and keep your finger at an angle. Now, if you didn't want to have the length through here, I would be including this hair with the rest of the length that I cut where I pulled it straight up. So if I didn't want to include the length, I would pull this hair straight up and I would just cut it like that. And that would keep it all one length through the top, and it wouldn't leave more hair through here. But because I like to style it, or have McCoy style it more where he has a little bit of amount to brush it back and have that kind of a little bit of a pompadour look, I leave it a little bit longer. And so this is looking a little heavy, so I'm going to go through there and I'm going to cut that a little bit more. So with McCoy, I do like to use texturizing shears to cut out bulk and to I like to use texturizing shears to cut out bulk into blend. So that is going to be these right here. They have notches in one side of the blade. So I'm going to go through and use them to texturize a little bit through here. I'm still using a comb because I like to have a little bit more control of what I'm taking off. If I just went in and went like that, I could cut bald spots in his hair even though I'm not taking off. I wouldn't be taking out as huge of a chunk if I just went in with a pair of shears and did that, but I still want to keep a little bit of control when I'm going in through the hair with the texturizing shears. So I have a little bit of a guide and a guard to keep from cutting those spots in his hair. Alright, so I'm liking how that's looking. If you guys were here from the very beginning, this has been a huge transformation. You want to see what it looks like?
Oh, we didn't do a before picture.
We didn't. Or even a before spin. I'm going to get the hair off of you so you're a little more aesthetically pleasing. So last thing, one of the important things to check as well, which this is something I always forget, is coming through here. And sometimes they'll have hair that grows past the cape. So just going through and making sure that you've gotten everything through there, which it looks pretty good. All of that hair isn't his, it's little bits of hair. But this is just a basic guy's haircut using scissors and clippers. You want to see it? Or no, you're fine.
It looks great.
It looks great?
I'll take your word for it.
You'll take my word for it. Alright. So if you guys have stuck around this far, thank you. So this is a men's basic haircut. I love seeing the results that you guys do. I like seeing that this is helping. So again, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully we can do this again. I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe.